Welcome to the 9th week of Connect Groups for this session. We're almost finished with this session, but I wanted to drop in for just a few moments to join you so I can make sure that your group stays connected and in sync with all of our other Connect Groups at Fusion City Church. During this meeting, talk about your community service project. Maybe you've already completed it. If so, celebrate, share pictures, and have a good time. If you haven't completed your Connect Group service project, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you find some way for you to serve together as a Connect Group. Also, be sure you're using the Church Center app. You don't want to miss out anything of Fusion City Church. You want to make sure you stay in the loop of all of our events, your sermon notes, videos from Sunday, and make sure you're communicating with your Connect Group on a regular basis, particularly with the Connect Group break coming up in just a couple of weeks. So be sure that you use the app. It's a great resource. Take advantage of it, and I know that you'll enjoy that and benefit from that tool. And lastly, before I go, I want to help you get started in discussing 2 Corinthians chapter 3. And I really do trust that you came prepared to discuss chapter 3 right now. We have some great tools for you to prepare ahead of time to help you with conversation within your Connect Group. It's called Me Time. You can find that in the app, and you'll want to prepare before you get there so discussion can be even better. And now for 2 Corinthians chapter 3. I'm going to venture to say that chapter 3 is it's a bit of a head scratcher for you, for me. The reality is that Scripture can be hard to understand at times. I mean, there's a 2,000-year gap between 2 Corinthians when it was written and now. And a lot has changed, not the least of which is culture and language. But this is where Bible translations can come in incredibly handy. My personal go-to translation is ESV, English Standard Version. I like it because it's a word-for-word and accurate translation. At Fusion, we tend to recommend the NLT, New Living Translation. For general reading, it's a great thought-for-thought translation where it takes into consideration the original meaning and the writer and the text. The NLT is somewhat easier to read than the ESV. It's a great translation. However, sometimes we need an even easier Bible to read. And this is where the Message paraphrase can come in. This message is not translated word for word from the original text, nor is it translated from thought to thought. Instead, the Message is a paraphrase. You'll get a really big generalization of what the passage is talking about, and it can be very helpful. I must say, the further we get from word to word translations, the less accurate we get. So what I find myself doing on tough passages is to read all 3 of the Bible versions that I have just mentioned. And then I get a really good idea of what the writer is saying to his particular audience. Now, when this video ends, why don't you spend some time discussing what Bible translation you use and maybe compare chapter 3 with each other. There are tons of translations out there, and maybe you have one that I didn't even mention. Either way, read and see what it says. Maybe if no one has read the Message paraphrase, maybe spend some time reading the Message paraphrase together out loud. Now, earlier I said I wanted to help you get started in discussing this chapter, and you all have your individual takeaways, so be sure that you discuss each other's takeaways as well. Don't just solely focus on what I'm bringing to the table. Be a group and discuss together. And before you leave the meeting, be sure that you pray together if you haven't already. And until we see each other again, I pray that you stay safe and God bless.